Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 16 in season 1 here at Williams Racing on our Road to Glory series. So in this episode it is going to be the Singapore Grand Prix, which is a street circuit. So I'm looking forward to the race weekend. It should be an exciting one. So let's just go quickly over to the R&D tree, guys, before we jump into the race weekend. Now, as we can see, we're catching horse little by little, so we need to keep on putting some upgrades on the car. So as you can see from the vehicle performance status, we are way behind on aerodynamics, so I feel like that's where we have to focus our points as of now. So we have 1600 points. So we did have a major upgrade fail, so we will restart that, as we don't have any more points to do anything on the aerodynamics. So I will also fix this one on chassis. And it doesn't look like I have any more points to do anything else. So we'll just have a quick look at the tyre allocation for this weekend, guys, that we have available to us. I think I will run this option here. So like I said, guys, we're just about ready to jump into the Singapore Grand Prix here, which is a street circuit race. So it should be fun for us to see if we can finish in and around the top 10 here, maybe, if we're lucky, with a good qualifying. So before we jump into today's episode, guys, if you are a new viewer to the channel, then please do subscribe. Please do hit the notifications bell so you do not miss any further content coming to the channel in the coming weeks. If you have any feedback for me, then please do leave it in the comment section below this video. And without further ado, guys, let's move on to the race weekend. So here we are, guys. Let's just have a quick look at the weather report here before we jump into this weekend's practice sessions here. So as we can see, we do have some weather report, some messages here, sorry. Qualifying will be in the evening and it will be dry. And the race will start off dry, but they will then go over to rain. So that makes it a very interesting race here, guys, with mixed conditions on track for the race. As you can see here, we are not doing very well in the development comparison. We are way off horse, so hopefully we can close that gap with a couple more upgrades on the car. It looks like we'll have some new regulation changes next year. We think this will affect multiple departments, but we aren't yet sure which ones. Be cautious when it comes to investing in upgrades, as we may have to start adapting them for next year. So that's not really the news that we wanted, as we were looking to get as many updates on the car as possible. As you can see there, we did lose our last rivalry to Esteban Ocon. So I will jump into these practice sessions, guys, and I'll see you again for the short qualifying. So here we are, guys, just about to get underway with our short qualifying here in Singapore. Now, I'm not going to lie, our pace in practice was shocking. We were qualifying P20 in all 3 of the practice sessions. We were 2.5 to 3 seconds off the pace in every single practice session. So I really do hope that we can find a little bit more pace in qualifying, but it's going to be really tough. So I have found a setup for the Singapore track, which I will be using. It's 8 wings, 50-60 on the differential throttle. right, right, left, left on the suspension geometry. 3, 3, 6, 5, 7, 4, 5. So there's a little bit of higher ride height to get over the curbs. Brakes is 80, 54. And the tyre PSI is 23, 23, 20.3, 20.3. So after I changed to this setup, I did manage to find 3 or 4 seconds on the time. So that has helped me be a bit more consistent in my lap times. So without further ado, guys, let's jump straight out onto the track and let's see what type of times we can put in here in qualifying.
Checks complete. All personnel be aware we have a car leaving.
So like I said, guys, the pace we had in practice wasn't the best. This is a lovely, lovely circuit to drive around in the night time. It really does look spectacular. But this isn't one of my favourite tracks. So hopefully we can qualify not anywhere near the back of the grid. Hopefully we can get into that pack just ahead of there. On tomorrow's race, hopefully we can make up a couple of places with race strategy. So we're just going to take it nice and easy here on this outlap, guys. We'll let this car past here, Giovinazzi. So the last couple of races have been difficult for us, guys, with the AI changing up from an 80 to a 90. And that the upgrades on the car we haven't been able to get on yet that we've been waiting for. So I'm hoping with the last couple of races that we have left of the season that we can get the last little upgrades on the car so we're not too far behind Haas and Alfa Romeo before next season. So it'll be interesting to see what type of pace we have around here now, guys, in qualifying. And we also have to remember the race will start dry tomorrow, but after the first few laps there is forecast rain, as I bump my front wing there. That should be alright, it's only yellow.
Front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
So the race could be interesting tomorrow, guys. It might all come down to strategy, since it will be a wet race. As Giovinazzi sets the first flying time here of a 140.
Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
My times in practice were around the 144 mark. As Hamilton comes in there with a 138. So I'm just hoping with a few more upgrades on the car, guys, that we can be a little bit more competitive next season. I did ask the question in the previous episode if you would like me to stay with Williams Racing next season or maybe move up to Alfa Romeo since there will be a seat available there, or maybe move to a different team. And the feedback has been that you would like to see me stay at either Williams or move to Alfa Romeo to replace Kimi. As we go a bit deep into that corner there. This lap hasn't felt like it's been the fastest lap in the world, so it'll probably be around a 146 or something. Be interesting to see what time it is when we cross the line. I'm not expecting much from qualifying, guys, it's more the race that I'm looking ahead to. But you never know, we might be able to surprise ourselves here. That currently puts us in P10, guys, with a 144.0. So I will go back to the pits now, guys, and fix that front wing. since we do have front wing damage. So I'll just go nice and easy back to the pits, put on a new set of soft tyres, and I will come back out and try and improve that time of a 1:44 if I can. This really is a beautiful track when you do get the hang of it. It really is a nice, open, fast-flowing track. So that it's going to be rain in tomorrow's race will make it interesting, guys. I didn't see if it will be heavy rain or light rain, but I'm guessing we will have to go in and change over to the either intermediate or the full wets during the race. So that might give us a chance to gain some positions in tomorrow's race, guys. This is a really nice setup for this track. So I'll just take it nice and easy here as we are almost at the pit lane. So as you can see, I'm currently down to a 12th there, guys. Giovinazzi in 10th has got a 140. We currently have a 144.0. So it's pretty much certain that we will be starting from in and around the back of the grid tomorrow, guys. Unless I can find a little bit more time around this track. So I'll just take up the overview really quick here whilst the repair time is counting down, and we can see what type of times the other drivers are managing to put in. So as you can see there, we've got quite a bit of damage repair time there.
Set us back a little.
As we can see, Sebastian Vettel has the fastest time here, a 1:38.0, and we are currently down in 17th place. As you can see there, I am 4 seconds off my teammate George Russell.
Our best lap so far is a 1:44.0.
So I'm now currently down to an 18th, so I'm expecting to be starting at the back of the grid tomorrow, guys. I cannot find the pace around this track, so after this repair time goes out, I'll jump straight back out again and try and improve our time. So I will put on a new set of tyres, and we will jump straight back out onto
303.4 kilometers per hour.
And we'll jump straight back out onto the track, guys. Try and improve that 1:44 if we possibly can. I just need to try and chain a few more consistent corners together, and I'm sure I'll be able to half that time there, but so we'll see what we can do on our second attempt here, guys. Save our ERS for the next lap when we go out on our flying lap here. So I definitely feel like I can gain a little bit more time around this track. It's just that I don't have the consistency in the corners to be able to carry the speed through that we need.
You're lapping slower than George. George is faster.
So even though I really like this track, the track obviously doesn't like me, as I'm not quite quick enough around here. So hopefully on this next lap here, guys, we can make some inroads on that 1:44, take a little bit of time off it if we possibly can. So I will take the fuel up to max now, and I will put the ERS on hot lap, so we're ready to go on the next lap. Also try and make the car a little bit lighter for when we start our flying lap. as I run very wide there. So here we go guys, with attempt number 2 here in Singapore, trying to improve our time. So I'm going to try and be a bit more consistent in the corners here. Let's see if I can't gain a little bit more time that way. As we are currently almost 2 seconds up on our previous time. As I run very, very wide there, so that should cost us some time. Open the DRS wing, coming down this long straight here. So even though we can find 2 seconds here, that's still going to leave us 2 seconds behind George. Unless I can find a bit more time in this final sector here. So now we are currently 1.2 seconds behind George, guys. So I managed to find a good amount of time on that lap. So I will cool it back down, guys. I'll go into the pits as I don't have fuel for one more flying lap. And that might be the only chance that we had to improve our time there, with there being only 4 minutes left in the session. Unless I have time to get back and use the flying lap option that we have in the pits. But I don't think I have it in me to find that extra 1 second to go ahead of George Russell here. So I might just have to hope that something happens in the race tomorrow, that I'm able to get a good start, maybe get past Russell. We have put new components on the car, so we shouldn't have any mechanical issues in tomorrow's race, guys. So I'm banking on the wet race, playing into our favour maybe a little bit. So I probably will start the race tomorrow on the super softs, guys, if the rain is going to hit early, to try and stay as close to the pack as I possibly can before the pit stops. So here we are, we made it back round to the pits with just over 3 minutes to spare. Don't want to speed into the pits, so I need to take my speed down. There we go. As we can see, most of the AI are on the way out now to set their final flying lap here. As we almost had a crash there with one of the Alfa Romeos as we were coming into our pits and they were leaving theirs. So I will have a quick look at the overview, guys, to see what the split sectors look like.
The car settings screen on your multifunction display will allow you to change various settings as you drive. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down to the setting you want to change.
So as you can see there, we're over 3 seconds off pole. and we are 1 second slower, 1.2 seconds slower than our teammate George Russell. So I really don't think I will be able to find that time, and the track is very, very full. So what I'll do,
Your best lap so far is a 1:41.2.
is I will accelerate the time, guys, to the end of the session, and we can follow the overview here, see who gets pole, second and third on the grid.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Vettel, Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So just confirmation, guys, we will be starting from P20 tomorrow. Our teammate George Russell managed to improve his time by 0.3 on his last flying lap there. So hopefully we can pick the right race strategy tomorrow. Hopefully the rain plays into our favour. So we will find out in tomorrow's Grand Prix. So without further ado, guys, let's jump straight into the race.
Here we go then, it's Formula One in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to all of you at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot, horribly humid, but very beautiful streets of Singapore. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. And I'm delighted, as always, to introduce Anthony Davidson, who'll be taking you through all the action alongside me today.
That was not a happy-looking Sebastian Vettel, was it? There's obviously some balance issues with the car they just haven't gotten top of, and it leaves him with a lot of work to do in the race today. And of course, it's looking very close here today. A lot's going to be riding on those first few corners, and then the question becomes who can manage their tyres so they're in a better position to push hard towards the end.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Perez, and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat, and Stroll, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Roman Grosjean, Russell, and Jones. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
We may be at the back of the field, but there's plenty of racing to come. Keep it clean and you'll move up the order.
So here we are, guys, just about ready for lights out here in Singapore. So let's just have a quick look at the race strategies we do have available for us here today. We have the first strategy, which is on the soft tyre to the medium compound, or we have the medium compound to the hard compound. But as you can see in the top of the screen there, rain will hit the track in the first maybe 5 to 6 laps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and outsmart the AI if that is possible. I will start on this strategy here, and I will aim to go to around lap 9 on the mediums. And hope that the rain has come around that point and that they'll have to go in and do a 2-stop strategy, whilst we can stay out and do a 1-stop strategy and go from the medium straight over to the rain tyres. So that is my thought behind this, guys. I'm hoping that it pays off, but only time will show. So if you are a new viewer to the channel, guys, then please do hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the notifications bell so you do not miss out on any further content that is coming to the channel. If you have any feedback for me, then please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below this video. And without further ado, guys, let's jump straight into the Singapore Grand Prix. So we're going to engage the clutch here, up into rich fuel mix. And it's go, go, go for the Singapore Grand Prix. Not the best start from us, guys, but we are on the medium compound tyre and the rest are on the softs. So hopefully, there was a little bit of contact there obviously with Grosjean. So hopefully our tactic pays off, guys, when the rain hits. Hopefully it comes after the AI have to change their soft compound tyres. So they'll have to do a 2-stop and we'll have to only do a 1-stop strategy. So hopefully that is the right strategy for us, guys. As we look down the inside of Grosjean here, looking to get a move done. And we just didn't have enough room there to get it done. So I will be a little bit slower than the AI guys, since they are all on the softer compounded tyre and I started on the medium. So hopefully the strategy pays off, guys. I'm hoping that I've done the right thing here.
We've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
But only time will show as we go deeper into the race here. We'll see if we have picked the right strategy. As I graze the wall there just a little bit. So I will look to use some overtake down the start finish right here, guys. Try and close the gap a little bit to Grosjean if it is possible. So it wasn't the best start in the world, we're still in P20. But I'm kind of putting all my eggs in one basket with this pit strategy that I've picked out for us here. So hopefully I can stay this far behind the AI here until they have to go into the pits. As I took that corner very sloppy there, so the AI have pulled away from me just a little bit. As I will use a bit of overtake here, guys.
Repeat that, there's interference.
As I run a bit wide there. So the AI have opened up a nice little gap to me here of around 2 seconds. So hopefully we can close that back down again to around the 1 second mark if we possibly can. As I tried to go flat out through there, but that obviously didn't work.
When you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I was looking for the overtake button there and I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. So the gap is now more or less around 1.7 seconds. So I'm hoping we do see them going in now in the next couple of laps to change over from the soft compound tyre to a different compound, whilst we can stay out on the medium compound.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
So that's what we were banking on, guys. The rain coming in and the AI happened to do a 2-stop strategy. So we are currently on lap 3 of 15 here. And the AI are pulling more and more away from us here as I go very deep into that corner. And that has more or less destroyed the strategy that we were looking for, guys. As now the AI have almost a 10-second lead on us here. Which is very disappointing. So hopefully that rain is coming sooner rather than later and will save us a little bit here. As the gap is now currently 9 seconds to Romain Grosjean and Giovinazzi ahead of us here. So we have made life difficult for ourselves, guys, with that poor corner there. As I was too early on the power there, and we span it. So I'm pretty sure that the strategy that I hoped to work has now went out the window with our two poor corners here. Which is a shame, but such is life when things start going against you. They really go against you. So it's difficult for us to catch a break here at Williams. As we can see now that the AI are going into the pits now for their medium strategies. But since we made a terrible decision on those two corners there, I'm not sure that we'll be able to gain as many positions as we hope that we could do. As we see, rain is starting to appear on the track now, guys, and we are up to P17.
The car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
So if I didn't mess up those two corners there, guys, I would have been a lot closer and would have been able to take a few more positions. That would have been a lot better than where we are now, which is currently down in P17. So this is what we hope for, guys. We hope for the rain to come into play, but unfortunately, we weren't positioned where we were meant to be positioned to get the best out of this strategy.
Let's be mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now, though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early.
So as we can see, Grosjean up in 15th still hasn't pitted for his medium tyres. As we are starting to lose grip now on these medium tyres, guys. As we have Daniel Ricciardo right behind us here. He'll surely have a go at us now through this final section. But it looks like Giovinazzi might stay out on the soft tyre until he has to change to intermediates, as Danny Ricciardo looks down the inside of us here and gets the move done, coming down to turn 1. As we have Sainz and Vettel right behind us, guys. So I will use some overtake to try and defend. As we are starting to lose a lot of grip on these medium tyres here now, guys.
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some
As we got
damage.
spanned
Check
by
your
one of the
MFD
AIs,
for
I think it was
new
Sainz
strategy
who had
option.
a look down the inside of us there. And I get the penalty for a collision with Sainz, and I have to give the position back.
Illegal overtake. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
So that will cause us to come into the pits, guys. I don't understand why I got the penalty there when it was obviously Sainz that span us. And we end up getting the penalty and a lot of damage on our car. So that's more or less our race over here, guys, around Singapore.
Okay, copy that.
So we will have to go in and repair this damage, guys, which is very, very unfortunate, as now we have no downforce at all. So what I will do is I will take a chance and I will change over to the intermediate tyres, and we have absolutely no downforce and no grip here, as I get a warning for corner cutting, but there wasn't much I could do there. I'm struggling a lot to stop the car as we have no downforce whatsoever at the front. So all I have to do now is just guide it safely as I can back to the pits. And this is a real shame, guys, because I really do feel like we had the right strategy. But a poor few corners there in the dry, and Sainz spanners and caused us a lot of damage.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
As we can see here, all the teams have come in and changed over to the intermediate tyres. So we will have to serve a stop and go penalty here first, guys, before we start our pit stop. So that is more or less our race over here now around Singapore, guys. I don't really understand why we got the penalty when Sainz was the one who span us.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So, like I said, I really do feel like we had the right strategy, but our race has now been ruined by that collision that we had with Carlos Sainz. I'm currently 22 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. So basically we're out here now, guys, just making up the numbers, as I don't think I will be able to make up 23 seconds on Carlos Sainz. Now, it's a real shame, guys. I had high hopes that our strategy would work for us, but it obviously wasn't to be. As the gap is steadily now at 24 seconds. As Romain Grosjean is back into the pits there. Is he going to put on the full wets maybe? Or has he got some damage? Grosjean is still in the pits. Grosjean is still in the pits there, guys, so I'm wondering if he's maybe changing over to the full wets, or if he has some vehicle damage, or he might have to retire from the session. So we might be able to make up one position here, guys.
Gap to car in front is 25.7 seconds.
But then all of a sudden Grosjean was 46 seconds ahead of us, so maybe that was a problem with the graphics there. It showed that he was in the pits. So our race was practically over before it began, guys. So I don't really understand why we got a stop and go penalty, because Sainz pushed us off the track and caused us well, not terminal damage, but a lot of damage to our front wing.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
And the way this rain is coming down, guys, I don't think it'll be too long until we will have to go in and change to the full wets, which is the blue tyre, is the full set of wets. So it's very disappointing how this race went for us, guys.
pretty terrible, but that water is draining away. I think the intermediate is going to stay the tyre of choice for a while yet.
So it looks like we will be finishing the race on the intermediate tyre. So this is a shame, guys. We're basically out here in no man's land now with no one around us. So I will use a little overtake down the straight here.
You need to slow down before hitting the corners. We don't want to get a penalty.
As Sainz is now increasing his gas toes now by around a second a lap. So this is very, very disappointing, guys. Wasn't the race picture I saw for me before we started the Grand Prix. Like I said, I thought we really had picked the right strategy here. If I could only have stayed closer to the main pack, I'm sure when they went in to change for their medium tyres that we could have jumped up a few more positions. And if we didn't have to come in and pit, then I'm sure that when the AI come in to put on the wet tyres, that we could have came in at the same time for our wet tyres, which would have kept us up and around a good position there, but it wasn't to be. It looks like we will be finishing this race P20 unless anyone retires from the race.
The gap to the car ahead is 33.1 seconds. Are you alright? Sit tight, the marshals are on their way.
As we go very deep onto a corner and smash our front wheel off. So we will be retiring from the session, guys. As I broke very late there, locked the wheels and just caught the wall on the exit there. So that kind of sums up our Grand Prix, guys. So I will retire from the session. So that is our first retirement for the season, guys.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Kimi Räikkönen is my standout today. Nothing you could construe as showboating, just an incredibly consistent performance out on track.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So here we have confirmation, guys. Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. And at the back here, as you can see, we did not finish the race, which was very disappointing. We never really recovered after the bad start that we had. And after we were spun and got damaged by Carlos Sainz, we never really recovered from that. And then I locked up too late going into a corner. clipped the wall and our wheel came off, so we had to retire from the race. So let's jump ahead, guys, to the final preview.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment? I don't really think that any of these drivers here are our rival. We do not have the car to compete with either Ferrari, Aston Martin, or really McLaren, but I'll have to say Carlos Sainz.
Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather today?
Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather? Well, I felt comfortable, but it's just a shame that the strategy that we had hoped that would work didn't come to fruition. So wet weather poses risks, but I had a great team behind me.
Was today a good day for you?
Was it a good day for you? No, I'm not happy with my performance at all. I was very, very sloppy. And it was my fault that we had to retire from the race. So overall, I am not happy with my performance today at all.
What could have gone better?
What could have gone better? I could have not been as sloppy as I was. I wouldn't put any fault on the car. But if I had to pick one, I would probably say that the engine isn't powerful enough. We definitely need to try and get a bit more power out of our engine. But we also are way behind on the aerodynamic package, so I'll say aero package.
Appreciate your time.
So there we have it, everyone. That was the Singapore Grand Prix. A very, very disappointing race for us. We just did not have the pace in either practice or qualifying. When it came time for the race, we just made silly mistakes. And after that collision with Carlos Sainz, we never really recovered. We were too far behind the pack. And I locked up too late. And as I was exiting the corner, I was too close to the wall. And our left front came off. So we had to retire from the session. So that wasn't what we were looking for, guys. So I will simulate ahead towards the Russian Grand Prix here. And as you can see, we got a few upgrades on the car now that we so desperately needed. We're still waiting for one major aero pack to come, which will be after the next Grand Prix. So as you can see, we're still a ways behind Haas, but we do have 1,200 points to use here. So I will take this upgrade here. And that should be with us, did it say 19th of October? So that should be with us near the end of the season. So in the next episode, guys, we will be in Russia. So hopefully we can pick up the pace there and get a better finish there than what we did here in Singapore. So just before we go, guys, if you are a new viewer to the channel, then please do subscribe. Please do hit the notifications bell so you do not miss any further content that will be coming to the channel in the coming weeks. If you have any feedback for me at all, then please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below this video. Please do leave me a little like on the video if you're enjoying watching this Road to Glory series here at Williams Race Team. And I'll see you again in the next episode for the Russian Grand Prix.